ke tlala wena andile o le para mfana andile mpya areng a dimpya o le para.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage
King Andile Mama.
to everybody in the house. Give a warm round of applause for
King Andile Mama.
And he captures the moment.
King Andile Mama.
Man, it is extraordinary.
Let's go straight into Bafana Bafana conversation now. Pilani, we play Morocco on Tuesday.
Finally, we are progressing to the next round. I just want you to prepare your bright pack and everything. Don't invite in a game. As a sub-Muntumandi, we are ready to go forward and progress to the quarterfinals.
Mark?
I do believe we have what it takes to beat Morocco because I've always said on our day, we can beat anyone on the continent.
Nadim?
Whatever happens on Tuesday against Morocco, we just say well done, Bafana Bafana. Even if we are going to welcome them on Wednesday or Tambo.
So Bafana's losing to, according to you?
Oh, definitely. You're coming back on Wednesday.
She was definitely even. Gents, we'll do it again on Friday, yeah? Lilo?
You're not going to sing on Wednesday?
What's happening on Wednesday?
Oh, Tambo.
Oh. Gary L. Smith, of course, being a Ghanaian man himself. Gary, I know I sound very upbeat when I'm greeting you. I can imagine you're still in a period of mourning.
We are back to square one. We've been here for the last couple of Africa Cup of Nations.
This has been, by far, the best AFCON I've witnessed. From a footballing point of view, organizational point of view, broadcast point of view, what the SABC Sport has done in this broadcasting of this has been absolutely breathtakingly amazing. All round, the best AFCON in history. We've shown every single game live. SABC Sport proudly putting together a world-class, you hear me, production.
Sky is the limit, and you know that you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want, be what you want.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Game over.
Made you wait a little bit longer than expected because I know so many of you want in on this Friday. I was asked to give the numbers of the studio immediately when I get on the air. So here they are. The numbers to the studio. For those that are going to call just after 1840, it's 086 000 2160. Please save them on your phone. Just write there, Sports Night Amplified with Andile, and save those numbers. 086 000 2160 to call us, and to WhatsApp. Save it under that so that you can WhatsApp us as well, your voice notes, on 060 552 7303. Welcome to it. Thanks so much to Timo Touch. What an inspirational show. I always love it when my Orange speaks. Such a charismatic man, but the way that he paints life, the pictures of life that he paints, so real, so raw, using his own life experiences on so many things that could have gotten him down, from prison to losing his leg and et cetera, and the struggles in the industry, but always so positive when he looks forward. And I absolutely love that about him. That's the kind of attitude I like to have in my own life as well. 12 after the hour 6. They do it again next week between 3 and 6. It's the touchdown. Right now, though, it's Sports That Amplified with Andile. Pro Pilan is in the building. Konza still on bed rest. He'll be back soon. We hope to have him back soon. We miss him. We've got Mark as well as Nadim and Pro Pilane all ready to tackle this week's issues, the big issues that we encountered this week. But we can't do that without going back to last week, because I think it was the first time I saw Nadim and Mark both trained. It's normally just Nadim, but Mark was in it as well. So we'll get into it and so much more. There's many things to tackle. One that pains me is the Steve Kompela issue. We'll get into that one, but also the Lyle Foster issue. South Africans' reaction to seeing Lyle Foster come out against Man City, a high pressure game in a volatile place. In when you look at where they are as a team as well, more pressure added, and he was able to come out there and play. South Africans' reaction to that, not necessarily kind. We'll touch on that as well, and so much more. Of course, Bafana Bafana in action tomorrow. We'll touch a little bit on that and some of the quarterfinals coming up. Also, part of this show is at Opta Jabu. Follow Opta Jabu. Follow Opta Analysis as well. Analyst, I think it is, yeah? I'll give you the exact handle for that, because I've been using it a lot now during the AFCON in my preparations for my work, and it's been absolutely fantastic. I said absolutely too many times, so let's go to a break.
Submissions for this year's Metro FM Music Awards are now open. And the winner is... To enter, simply log on to www.metrofmmusicawards.co.za. Make some beautiful noise! For inquiries, email info@metrofm.co.za. Yeah! Metro FM.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody. It's bigger, it's better. The Metro FM Awards are back.
It's where you want to be. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
We beat an outstanding Moroccan team, but it was the way in which we did it. It was the way in which the boys fought. It was the way in which you saw the heart, the soul, the blood and the thirst that we'd wanted for such a long time. All of you waiting for that Nadim moment.
Whatever happens against Morocco, we'll just say well done, Bafana Bafana. Even if we are going to welcome them on Wednesday or Tambo, or definitely they're coming back on Wednesday.
It was definitely even. Let's go to Oscar. Oscar, oh, my name. Oscar.
Nadimo or Apollo. Please, bring a guide and public apology.
You are to do an Nadimo Tamila airport in Metina. We hear Moroto rain today. I agree with Bahuta. So I guess they were playing anything if you feel now or something else in Yata Najina. For we made it as go Felana. It will from Nadi.
6 to 7 p.m. Podcast Friday on Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Powered by SABC Sport.
It's a favorite sports show anywhere on radio on a Friday. No one else comes close to Sports Night Amplified and the Podcast Friday. The guys are here. The guys are here. The guys are here. It's the Champions League of radio every single Friday when the Podcast Friday guys get you. Let's go to Durban. Pro Pilane. Pro.
Good evening to Andile. Good evening to the Jensen studio, and good evening to all the listeners of this number one sports show in South Africa and beyond.
Listen, Pro, I don't like it when you attack my boy Nadim on social media. When you join the bandwagon in the choir, I'm on Pro.
I know. Like I said last week with Andy Luguti, I've given him a bright pack. Anyone that stands against the happiness of South Africans is bound to be roasted. And unfortunately, it's my friend Nadim, the most famous one, that suffered the consequence.
Nadim, welcome to the show. Always great to have you.
Yeah, Andy, good to be here.
Nadim asked me to let him open the show by saying something. before I ask him any questions. So Nadeem, please do
Yeah.
your opening as you want.
I thought it's necessary to actually quote from the Bible on Ecclesiastes 9. It says, this is King Solomon writing, I have observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not necessarily wealthy. And those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It's all decided by a chance, by being in the right place at the right time. I would like to congratulate Bafana Bafana for being in the right place at the right time and making sure that they actually go to the quarterfinals. And tomorrow they're playing against Cape Verde. So, yeah, that's it.
Mark, welcome.
Nadeem. Wow. You've gone biblical on us. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I think it's important, Mike.
No, it's good to be here.
Yeah, let's start the show on this biblical proportion. Guys, it's a big one. I've said this many a times to my own detriment at times. Patrice Motsepe has put on the greatest show ever seen on the African continent as far as the Africa Cup of Nations is concerned. And he says the cornerstone of all of this is money. Not in the way that you might think. Have a listen to Dr. Patrice Motsepe, CAF president.
Many of the players don't earn the same money. I have learned over the last 20 years, if you increase the money that goes into the pockets of the players and tell them we have increased the prize money, and with the prize money it means that, and some of that money is going to go into the pockets of the players who need it. Some of course are playing at the highest level, and for them it's also the pride and the commitment of having the AFCON Cup in their nations.
Mark, you're a former player. It must be music to your ears to hear a president that believes more money in the pockets of players means a better tournament, better results, just better everything, really.
The reality is when money is not a concern, you perform better. So when mentally you enter the field in a better space, when money is not an issue, you go out there and you play because you love the game. You're going to give your best. You're going to fight. You're going to die on the field. You're going to cover every blade of grass. Whatever it takes, you're going to do it because you've been taken care of. So your family is taken care of. Your family is seen to. But, you can be on the field and be worried about school fees. You can be on the field and be worried about your bond or someone coming and looking for your car, whatever the case may be. So when you don't have all that added stress, you perform at an optimum. And so, when Dr. Motsepe came around, we all were like, wow, let's hope this goes throughout the league. I remember being at Swallows and a certain Tokyo Sikhwale wanted to buy Moroka Swallows, and we were all for it because we were like, maybe we can also get, kind of experience what the Sundowns guys are feeling. And obviously it wasn't to be, but yes, it definitely makes a massive difference. And you can see when a player is playing and is happy to perform, he's giving everything. And it makes a massive difference on the field and definitely adds to the quality we're seeing on the field.
Yeah, Nadeem, I don't know what you have to say about that. I mean, he's spoken many a times. He did it when he was here in South Africa. He said he's going to transform football. He's going to put more money in the pockets. And I've been lucky enough to be in rooms with Dr. Patrice Motsepe when he deals with Sundowns players. And I can tell you now that he definitely puts money back in their pockets.
It's just a godsend, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, for what he's doing, also not only for Mamelodi Sundowns. In African football, if you look at the AFCON, it's a beautiful tournament. The players are fighting to. It's now look like the biggest crown. It's now like the Vice World Cup. That's how beautiful the AFCON is through him. It's one of those you wish there were a lot of owners that are generous like him, who support players, who cares about players. He's just one of those owners that wish to see more of them.
Pro, you're a former Sundowns man.
But Andile, you know what? I just hope and pray that the players have the capacity to handle the financial rewards, because it's so disappointing at times to see someone earning millions and then after 2 or 3 years you hear stories that they are broke or they have lost everything. I just hope and pray that even their own clubs will come to party as well and help them to actually learn about handling money. I just hope that they do develop a mental capacity to handle all the millions that are coming in that direction. And at the end of the day, we just want to see them living well, even post their careers, because that's all that matters, that people need to live a comfortable life, and they need to live within their means as well. So getting millions today does not guarantee the next paycheck. So I hope they handle that money with all the care in the world so that they can live better in the future.
I also wonder what this would do if the money was really, really good, even better than what it is now. I wonder how much of that would sway players that don't come back to play for their teams. Those that, are conflicted between what they earn and what their daily earnings are out in Europe and coming to AFCON, because financially it's never been worth it. It's always been a pride thing for most players. But we'll get into such a situation when we speak about Lyle. Not about money, but about him.
Hollywood Bets is ready to take you to the skies with Aviator. Clear for takeoff and your chance to win up to 10 million rand per flight with instant results every 90 seconds and multipliers that keep you on the edge of your seat. Bet online now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Open your world of more audacious rewards to use on data, airtime, electricity, or banking fees. More sharing with family with 5 linked accounts and flexibility with an overdraft when you switch your salary. Get more on africanbank.co.za with an African Bank My World account. T's and C's apply. African Bank, audacity to believe. African Bank Limited is an authorized FSP. NCR registration number NCRCP 7638. Underwritten by God Risk Life Limited and licensed life insurer.
Pizza stories by Roman's Pizza.
Pizza. Watch them tuck into their 2 large Savor Flavor pizzas for $159.80. Some eat with their hands, and others a knife and fork. This one likes to bend it. She folds it, he leaves the crust. The other only eats the crust. Each to their own. Pizza is for sharing, but the way you eat it is completely up to you. That's 2 large Savor Flavor pizzas for $159.80. Roman's Pizza. Best value.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
We beat an outstanding Moroccan team, but it was the way in which we did it. It was the way in which the boys fought. It was the way in which you saw the heart, the soul, the blood and the thirst that we'd wanted for such a long time. All of you waiting for that Nadim moment.
Whatever happens against Morocco, we'll just say well done, Bafana Bafana. Even if we are going to welcome them on Wednesday or Tambo, or definitely they're coming back on Wednesday.
It was definitely even. Let's go to Oscar. Oscar, name. Oscar.
Nadimo or Apollo, please. Ringagaite public apology.
Ke batla tseba Nadimo tsamaile lo ema airport na ya ba emetse na. Here Moroto re ntudi. A ke re itse ba khutla. So a ke tsebe gore plane thing e fitlhile na re santsana le tseleng ya tla ona jena. Gore o emetse tsatsi ka ofela na. Ke tebo from Naledi.
6 to 7 p.m. Podcast Friday on Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Powered by SABC Sport.
It's 18:24. Time is already not on our side. We're going to have to really rush through these. The next one that we're going to be speaking about, guys, is the Lyle Foster matter. You know, it was a big matter when Lyle Foster had decided that he's not going to be joining Bafana Bafana. Hugo Bruce had his say, and I think all of us as South Africans had our say about it. But I think it quietened down because, you know, there wasn't any action in the EPL. The Premier League had also in a bit of a lull. When it came back, Man City playing and Burnley, of course, and you see Lyle Foster coming out, which I think woke the wounds of many South Africans at seeing Lyle Foster there when they know very well that somebody like that would be so capable to take this team that's already doing so well. And Bafana Bafana having won, I think that gave us an added pride. And people weren't necessarily kind in the things that were said about Lyle Foster. Because, you know, we know that he's not well. But seeing him play in high-pressure tournaments, or rather games, I mean, we saw him against Liverpool at the time when he said he wasn't coming. High-pressure game at Anfield. We saw him now at the Etihad coming out against Man City. South Africans didn't take kindly to it. Here's what his coach had to say.
We're in an environment, football, which is not necessarily taken into consideration. And I mean, you know, when you go out there and compete, when you have the noise all around the game, which is, you know, people love this game, but obviously they all have an opinion. It's not necessarily an arena where it's designed to protect your mental well-being, if you like. You do get exposed to quite a lot of things, and as part of it, you're going through things in your own way. But I think we're trying to make sure we give them the best support we can.
Giving him the best support they can, and it's a continuous giving him support, of course, is what he had to say. Burnley at the moment sitting 19th with, what is it? I think it's 12 points. They are 5 points adrift of where Everton is in 18th, and they're in serious danger with Sheffield United breathing down their throats as well with 10 points there. Pro, you saw what happened after the Man City game.
Unfortunately, I did not watch the Manchester City match, but I have been following what people have been tweeting and saying about Lyle Foster and the situation, and it's so unfortunate. We are so knowledgeable about other people's condition that we feel we should say whatever we want about their situation and their conditions. And for me, a part of me believes, Lyle Foster believed that he needed to be in a space that he's familiar with, and he needed to be closer to his club or to his family or whatever the case might be. And at the same time, as South African football fans, we know in the past we've experienced a lot of difficulties with your Benny McCarthy's, your Stephen Pienaar, your Quinton Fortunes, and to most South African football lovers, there's still that animosity that exists with the players that have been in that space before. And when you see Lyle Foster also turning down the Bafana call-up and saying that you really need to focus on yourself, for me, part of me understood where it's coming from, and there's a part of me that says, here we go again. But I want to believe him, and I want to believe that Bafana space is too toxic for him. He can't focus better, and he needs to be where he feels he's loved the most, and hence we see him playing for his club, and he's not feeling his pressure, he's not feeling any pressure, and he's enjoying his game. And it's so unfortunate we can't really hear his side of the story at the moment, and we only hear through his coaches and Safa. So I just wish one day that he can live to tell his story and tell us really what happened and what led to this misfortune that we're experiencing now as a country.
Mark, devil's advocate here. South Africans are allowed to feel how they feel. If they feel, listen, we're seeing you out there every day in high pressure situations, or we feel there's a bit of we feel a little betrayed by you. We needed you. Surely South Africans are allowed to feel how they feel. What do you think of that sort of thinking?
Again, I think I'm not sure when you say they're allowed to feel the way they feel. I guess everyone is allowed to feel some kind of way and express their own opinion. But again, I sympathize and empathize with Lyle, because it's not like it was an easy decision. I doubt that for any footballer, not going to AFCON is an easy decision. The fact that he's able to play in the environments we're talking about a high pressure environment, because that's what football is. And we heard the clip from Vincent Kompany. People don't always understand what it's like to be out there on the field, the expectation and the weight of 50,000 people or whatever the case may be on your shoulders. It's a heavy burden to carry. And the fact that he's able to compete is only because of the environment that he's currently in. They've made it conducive. They've they went through quite a bit to get him to a point where he can perform on the field. If he sat out for 10 games for Burnley. It's not like Burnley's benefiting or they didn't lose him for a certain amount of games or whatever the case may be. They lost him for a good length of time as well. And so I completely understand the decision of him not coming, and I think we need to respect that. It's unfortunate, and yes, we do. We did need him at the AFCON, but now we're still performing, and the team is doing exceptionally well. And why do we need to now take it back there? Let's just enjoy the moment, enjoy the way our team is performing, and it doesn't have to be about anyone else, about the fact that Lyle's not there. It's almost like people are saying good riddance. The reality is one day he's going to be back for Bafana, because he is one of our better players.
Yeah, he's definitely one of our better players. We need to respect him for not making himself available for the national team, even though he's playing for Burnley. We know that Burnley's situation is they do need Lyle Foster because they're fighting for relegation. One will say they might even be looking at 12 points after almost 20 games. They might be relegated.
22 games.
Yes,
Tough.
let's just respect him that he made himself available. We know that if it was a World Cup, maybe he was going to avail himself. It's not the first time, as Pilane said. As Pilane said, we've seen this with... We've seen that with, as Pilane rightfully said again, with Stephen Pienaar, Benny McCarthy. Those players, they will not be available during this kind of tournaments, but World Cup, they will want to be there. They will declare themselves fit. Just like Benny McCarthy, in the build-up of the 2010 World Cup, he was not available for the 2008 AFCON, but immediately 2010 World Cup was in South Africa. He was fit. He wanted to be there. He was hurt when Carlos Alberto Pereira dropped him for that World Cup squad. Lyle Foster, is playing for Burnley. If he was not playing, I understand how people will feel disappointed that he chose this club over the country. But it is what it is. Let's just respect him. If he's going through serious mental illness, we'll respect it. But yeah, we watch the Premier League. He's always there on TV. We see each and every game that he's fighting, playing. So he can't play for South Africa. What is it that he has, Benny, that South Africa don't have? Is it doctors, powerful medical people who can assist him in the pillars of the matches? We don't know what is the real reason. Maybe one day he will just maybe tell us
and I
what
think
happened.
right here on the show, you just heard the two South African thoughts here. You know, one that feels like Nadim and the other that feels like Pro and Mark. But let's move on from it. I mean, we just had to touch on it because it became such a big thing. Seeing Lyle again, it just rewoken those wounds. Let's come back home now before we go to Africa Cup of Nations. Steve Komphela. Swallows go back to training. The story was covered by Mozala Molefe and the guys at SABCsport.com. You can go and check it out there. Swallows go back to training, and Steve Komphela is nowhere to be seen at the training. Musa Nyatama takes care of the team as the assistant coach, and he's training the team. And it is quoted in that article that when Steve was called for comment, he said he wasn't aware that the guys were even back.
That's shocking in itself. Again, you ask yourself what is happening, and just the whole situation around Swallows. And I would go as far as to say that this is not what Coach Steve signed up for. He signed up to make a difference in this club, to make them a competitive team. And I think they were headed in the right direction. When you look at some of the performances that they put up, they were still in a building phase, but they were solid. And if you look at their log position, it speaks of a team that was doing really well and was growing. They were playing an attractive brand of football. Didn't always get it right, but you could see what he was building. You could see what he was doing. And then for it to all just capitulate and fall apart the way it did, I definitely feel he's probably feeling like this is not what I signed up for. And also because it's his word that's been put on the line as well. I remember, I think it was reported that the Swallows Supersport game, the last game before they actually dishonored certain the other fixtures, the coach, almost put his neck on the line to say, come guys, let's go and represent the club. Everything will be sorted out. And, I guess, he wasn't backed up by the club or whatever the case may be. So I firmly feel that probably a huge part of Coach Steve feels like this is not what he signed up for.
Nadim?
I've known Steve Komphela, I think, from 2007. He's one of the most reasonable person to deal with. Even if Swallows didn't want him anymore or was not going to be, he feels that he needs another coach. At least just tell him. He's an understanding guy. He's not gonna. Steve Komphela is a millionaire. He's already made a lot of money from football and other things. He was not gonna basically suffer just because Swallows could. But the way you treat a guy like Steve Komphela, who respects everyone, to me, it just tells me a lot about this Swallows owner. Honestly, maybe the PSL needs to do something about him. Firstly, release 22 players. Then he says they must come back and back their jobs. Now some of them are back. Then now they are training. You don't even tell the coach, I no longer need you. I need your assistant to go forward. At least to say thank you, bye-bye, or something like that. That's not how you treat people, because the PSL will always say this is the best league in Africa. We pride ourselves by being the most professional league in Africa. That's not a professional way to treat people. Really, the PSL, they just need to talk to Swallows, because what they are doing, I've never even seen in the NFD or the lower divisions. I've got friends who own teams in the lower division. They don't treat people like that. It's honestly not right what's happening at Swallows.
The Swallows environment is extremely incomprehensible. No one can tell you. I also can't comprehend a thing. That's one of the things that he said, Steve Komphela, when asked for comment there, with his absence, of course, raising eyebrows. The article is titled, Steve Komphela Hits Back at Moroka Swallows for Poor Communication, written by Mozala Molefe. Go check it out. It is there. Sad situation for a club and a team that don't want to be in this situation when they need the coach.
What is happening at Moroka Swallows, you don't wish it for anyone. You don't wish it for any footballer. You don't wish it for any coach. And one of the players was saying to me, you know what? When you look at the situation at Swallows, you may find that Coach Steve was actually helping some of the players during the try months, because he really wants to get the job done. He really wants to see players play football, and he will do anything in his power to make sure that players go on the field of play and play football. And what is happening now with him not being aware of what is happening at the club, it's very hurtful. I don't want to see South Africa losing a person of his caliber. He's such an asset in South African football. I know that at times, together with the coach Mandla, they always speak about invisible success. And I've heard a lot of players talking about that invisible success that Coach Steve brings to football. And I just wish and pray whatever that is going on at Swallows can be resolved as soon as possible. And we may see Coach Steve back in the dugout again and helping Swallows, because they started the season very well, and you can see where they are on the lock. They've really worked hard for the wins that they have.
But I mean, you say that. To me, it sounds like they're just trying to get rid of him. I mean, if you're going to say to me, and I read what he says, from the 27th of December, he's had no communication. Then they communicated with him on the 12th of January, and he was instructed that they've postponed the preseason resumption that was scheduled for the 15th of January. That was the last time they spoke to him up until he saw players in training. If somebody is doing that and treating you like that and not communicating with you like that, and I mean, first day, they go train and he's not there, surely somebody would have then said, hey man, why was the coach not here? Somebody call him. For me, Mark, it sounds and it looks like they want him out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. They always say there's three sides to a story, left side, right side,
Mine,
and
yours,
then the
and the truth.
And so we don't know exactly what has happened and, whether coach was contacted, but I know him as a professional. He is one of the most professional people out there. And so I don't think he's just going to stay away. And clearly, if that is the case, that he wasn't contacted, then it raises flags, it raises eyebrows, and it says, okay, are you trying to work the coach out? And it's a clear sign that might be the case. The reality is, we spoke earlier about players being happy on the field and performing on the field. If now you've cancelled players' contracts and brought them back at lesser contracts, what do you think you're going to get on the field?
We didn't see that coming. We didn't speak about that. I mean, it was the most glass see-through attempt at lessening your wage bill.
The reality is, it's going to show on the field. Unfortunately, that is the reality. Players, are you really expecting someone you've halved his salary to go out and die on the field for you? It's a lot to ask of anyone.
It really is. Now, we saw the big match of Morocco versus South Africa. And many people saw it as an underdog, which is South Africa playing the best team in Africa. But at closer inspection and a closer look, these two teams are actually closer than we might think. Mangoba Mngqithi articulated it in this way.
It's the time to be fully behind our team, because this team is good enough. I hear that Morocco is number one in Africa, but the best team in Africa comes from this country. So the two giants of African football are playing today, in my opinion.
The two giants of African football are playing today, in my opinion. The best team comes from this country, and the best country, as far as the best club football and the best team, Morocco and South Africa, is what he said. Nadim, did you understand that in the way that he meant it?
I did, and I disagree with him, obvious, because of most of the Moroccan players. I agree that Sundowns is the best team, one of the best in Africa. They recently won the AFL, even though they've not won the Champions League for the past 6 or 7 years. The fact is, most of the Moroccan players are not playing, they're playing abroad. So that makes them a bit higher than South Africa. They're not equal if you look at that. That's why I felt Morocco stand a very good chance against South Africa, because if you look at their players are superstars. If you are the best player in Morocco, you are not even considered to be a key player for the national team, because the key players are usually players who are playing Champions League football. But I do understand what he means, that if you look at how the club football is done, you can actually try to equal them. If you look, Sundowns beating Whitehead, and Whitehead always competing with Sundowns, there it makes sense.
Sundowns beat Casablanca at the CAF Women's Champions League 3-0.
Yeah.
Casablanca from Morocco. Bafana Bafana beat Morocco 2-0. They beat them 2-1 before that. Banyana beat Morocco 2-1 to win the WAFCON. Then you have to go to Mamelodi Sundowns beating the Moroccan club Wydad Casablanca to win the Africa Football League. So it's those two nations at the top, at the biggest competitions on the continent.
Interesting,
There's something in that.
There is definitely, but I feel like I feel compelled to say that one is because of, and the other one is in spite of.
Please explain.
So no. So Morocco, when you look at what Morocco have done in their football, especially their women's football, why are the women's football on the rise the way they are? What have Morocco done to get their women's football and their football in general, their national team as well? I mean, if you look at, this is the team that got to the semi-final of the World Cup. First ever African country to do so.
Unheard of before.
And even in that semi-final up against a defending champion France, they put up an amazing display. And so there's been investment, there's been endeavor on the part of the Moroccan Football Association. And so that's what I say, because of So they have achieved all that they have because of. What Bafana Bafana are doing, is it because of or in spite of what our association has done in terms of developing our football? And so, yes, when Coach Mangoba says that, he's speaking about club level. Clearly, we're not talking about national team level. When we say giant, are we a giant at national team level? Certainly not. Maybe Banyana are. But Bafana of in recent years, we can't say that about Bafana Bafana. They are exceeding expectation as we speak. How many of us have said that getting out of the group phase, we were happy? And so anything beyond that is a bonus. So right now we're living the bonus. How is it possible that we're talking like that about our national team when this is a team that was a powerhouse on the continent and should be a powerhouse on the continent? And we've shown that we can compete against the very best. But why are we surprised by it? Clearly something is amiss, and that is my problem.
Pro?
I disagree with Coach Mark purely because when he says Bafana Bafana are performing beyond expectations, whose expectations are referring to? Because from my point of view and from my perspective, Bafana Bafana have not yet met the expectations. Bafana Bafana's expectation from my side is to reach the semi-final, and they have not reached. If they don't reach the semi-final, to me, they would have underperformed in this tournament. You have counted all the points with Andy that I wanted to mention, that we have we've done better than Morocco in almost all competitions that we have met them. So what makes them superior to us? That is why when we were drawn against them in the round of 16, I was confident that we were progressing. Because I've seen how South African teams have performed against Moroccan teams, and I know very well that we are superior than them in every aspect of the game. Yes, they may look organized, and we may think that as South Africans we are not organized and our league is poor, blah, 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 and they're playing at the highest level, whatever the case may be. But trust me, when it comes to 11 versus 11, South African teams will always be superior than Moroccan teams, and that's a fact. And for me, my biggest worry is the fact that we are playing a team like Cape Verde that I feel they will be more motivated to play against us. And if we are not careful enough, they might strengthen us. But trust me, Morocco, what everybody is saying about Morocco, what everybody is saying that they are superior than us, I don't believe that for a second.
Pro, can I ask you this? So when we played against Liberia to qualify for the AFCON, when we failed to beat them at home after leading 2-0. They came back to 2-2. We had to go down to the last game to beat them away from home to qualify. And everyone was saying we're lucky because Zimbabwe were, banned from the group, and that's why we were able to get through and qualify for the tournament. So at that point, you already said we were going to get to the semi-final of the tournament.
When we lost to Ghana, in that dubious decision by the referee when you called for a non-existent penalty. We had like 13 points in that group, and we were high-flying until we were cheated by the referee. For me, those were the signs that this team is great. What Igwe Bruce has done at Bafana Bafana, it's so unfortunate that for you to justify the point that Bafana Bafana are less superior or something, you have to bring the game of Liberia, which is irrelevant in this topic in this time. We are talking about Bafana Bafana versus Morocco here, and you can also see from your end which there's nothing that you can bring about Morocco that shows that they are superior than Bafana Bafana.
The World Cup semi-final?
Until you speak about the clubs that they play for. And obviously they did very well at the World Cup. We cannot take that away from them. They did very well, but Bafana Bafana was not there to compare them with. So for me, let's be honest and believe Bafana Bafana, they are yet to meet our expectations. As soon as they get to the semi-final, they will meet my expectations. If they win the AFCON, they would have done what everybody in this country expected them to do.
Okay. Bro, nobody's a bigger Hugo Bruce fan than I am. I can tell you that for sure. I know exactly what you're saying because that's how I've defended him because of how we nearly qualified for the World Cup, and we haven't done that for years. So nobody's a bigger Hugo Bruce fan than I am, and so I agree with you fully on that. But the reality is that we as a nation have underachieved. When you look at from 96 even, and you get to this point, we have grossly underachieved. We should be dominating the continent. Everyone should be fearing us. But that is
but
not the case.
Morocco have one cup. We have one AFCON, same like us. So what
Over
makes them
40
superior?
years ago.
All I'm saying is,
What makes them superior? They have one AFCON, same like us. We have a semi-final, we have a final, we've lost in the final, we've lost in the semi-final. What makes them better than us is the fact that Hakimi has played for PSG and Real Madrid.
Okay,
Played at that level. Nothing we can break about Pesita, who has won 2 bronze medals at Club World Cup. We can break about that. But truth of the matter is, Morocco are not better than us as a team.
But
okay, Pilane.
We are much, much, much better than them.
Pilane, you are very wrong. I don't know where you are now, but you are very wrong. Look, the biggest stage in football is the World Cup. It is the biggest stage. You have to qualify to play there. South Africa have never even been in the group stage of the World Cup. In the last 16 or quarterfinals, Morocco reached the semi-final. Last year, no, wait. Bafana Bafana have only played in 3 World Cups. Qualified 2,
Morocco
6. Look, it doesn't matter that I'm talking about now. That Morocco reached the semi-final of the World Cup. You can't try to downplay that. It doesn't matter how patriotic you are. You are just wrong. Morocco are a better team than South Africa.
I want to stay in the Bafana Bafana. I want to stay. Hold on, Tro.
If Morocco is better team than South Africa, they will be playing tomorrow.
Hold on.
No.
I want to stay on Bafana Bafana because we've run out of time and this is such a scintillating conversation. But I want to go to Lindelwa Moya very quickly here, who joins us now. Lindelwa, I must say thank you very much to all of you guys at Laduma Analytics. You've kept me very informed during my AFCON presentations, and I'm even sharing a lot of what I'm seeing on Laduma. It's at Laduma Analytics with some of the coaches and players that I'm with in studio. So I really appreciate the work that you guys do.
Thank you, Andy. Good evening to you and the listeners and everyone in the studio as well.
Well, let's go into it. The first one here is let's stick with Bafana Bafana here and their progress here. You want to say something about sticking to what works?
Yes. So what we have here, Andy, is that Bafana Bafana at this AFCON, they've only made 2 changes to their starting 11 at the tournament, which is the joint fewest of any side. While on the flip side, Cape Verde have made 14 changes throughout the tournament.
Jeez, to their starting 11?
To their starting 11. They've made 14 changes in their 4 games.
What about the goals, the sharing of goals? I mean, we've had goals come from everywhere at Bafana.
Yes, that's the amazing thing, Andile. So 5 players have scored for Bafana Bafana: Pesitao, Tembazwane, Masego, Makopa, and Debho Mugwena, which means it's the first time since 1996 that 5 different players have scored for Bafana at a single tournament at AFCON.
And of course, the top 5 teams are all out, 4 of them being North African. This is some sort of history as well.
Yes, all North African teams are all gone. So it's since the FIFA World Rankings were published in 1992, this is the first time that none of the top 5 ranked teams have advanced to the quarterfinal stage.
Listen, go follow him. Lindola, I really appreciate you. It's at Opta Jabu, at Laduma Analytics. Top 5 teams, 4 of them, all North Africans gone. Senegal is the other one that adds to that top 5 there. Gents, let's tune the focus now to sticking with Bafana Bafana, and you can share your points from your previous thoughts to complete this one. We're playing Cape Verde. Small island, a beautiful island, mind you, just off the coast of West Africa. It's smaller than KZN. I mean, it's a really small place. Less than 600,000 people. There's more people in Alexandra than there are in Cabo Verde. But they've made it this far and they've done so well. Nadim, let me start with you.
I remember Cape Verde when they played South Africa in 2013 AFCON opening match at FNB, where it was a goal strong. Gordon Nikisand was a coach. They are a tough side. I honestly feel, just like you rightfully said, that the top 5 teams in the rankings and all the North African teams have been knocked out. One wonders how strong they are, North Africa, what affected them, because we know their quality. Algeria, Tunisia, I mean, it's the only country that actually beat France during the World Cup. So going to this game, Cape Verde, you'll feel Bafana, that it's going to be a tougher test than Morocco. If you look how Cape Verde have been playing, and if you look in the last 3 matches that South Africa has not beaten Cape Verde. In actual fact, Cape Verde have won twice, then the other one was a draw. It's one of those matches where Bafana will be thoroughly tested, because it's not a team where you will think maybe Cape Verde have superstars. The only big star is Pepe, who failed at Manchester United. Now he's playing in Spain. Of course, it's not like, it's almost maybe just above Pesitao, because he's playing in La Liga, one of the top leagues in the world. You feel that Bafana will be thoroughly tested. We can only wish them the best there.
I'm loving this matchup, and I must say I absolutely love the way Bafana performed in the last game. And it's not about football for me. What made me really proud in that game is, the desire of the team. And so you have to give credit to the coaching complement. There was a plan, you could see there was a plan in place. It was executed to the T by the players. And their willingness to go out there and put their bodies on the line, none more so than Grant Kekana. I mean, yes, we saw he was bandaged during the game.
He had a Mvala mask on.
Exactly. That's what I say. You expect that normally from Mvala, but when you see Grant Kekana come out the game the way he did, it just speaks wonders of what that team embodied and what they were willing to do to get that win. And for me, that's what it's going to take to go all the way in the tournament. So if we have the right attitude, I've always said that if we as a nation match every opponent for intensity, desire, for heart, all the non-skill factors, all the non-talent factors, if we are there and we compete on every level, our skill and our natural ability takes us across the line. And we saw that exactly with Tebogo Mokoena as well as Evidence Magopa. So we are among the best on the continent, and we showed it.
Do we change anything?
Not
Very
at all.
quick.
Not
Same
at all.
11.
Same starting 11. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Same 11.
No, definitely. Same 11.
Pro, you get to close this one.
But Andile, in 2004, we played Cape Verde. We beat them 2-1. 2005, we played them again. We beat them 2-1. In 2013, here during AFCON, we drew. And in 2017, they beat us 2-1 in the space of 4 days. So head-to-head, it's a tie. But my only worry is, what I mean is, when I say it's my only worry, is because this is a team that I feel will really test us. I think this will be our most difficult match in this AFCON, and we are going to progress by a fine margin. I think the majority of Tebogo Mokoena will see us through. Like I said before, and I was roasted even by Nadim when I said there's no player in this country that is bigger than Tebogo Mokoena, and he has proved beyond anyone's imagination that he's a big player. And he's going to carry this team to greater heights. And I think if the coach will not change the team, if he's going to keep Ustekano Tole next to him, we are going to progress to the semi-final.
Let's see how many of your calls we can take. A little bit later than usual, but it was a great conversation. I couldn't come in between it. 086-000-2160. Your voice note's already in.
Visit betway.co.za and never miss out on the non-stop action. Get way more with Betway.
Whether you're out on the course or prepping for the big game, Betway's Edit My Bet lets you scratch any picks off your multi-bet right up until kickoff. No penalty. All to make sure you've made the right choice for your bets. Another great feature, all par for the course, only at Betway.
It's a shoe.
T's and C's apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
Visit betway.co.za to bet on every unforgettable sporting moment. Get way more with Betway.
All right, here we go. Call Metro FM now on 0860 002160. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up.
YouTube, Andy Ngube is there, and just take a look at the show. You can watch the entire show because there are cameras in studio. We've got great guys in studio that shoot the show for us, and we put it out there so you can actually see the live emotions. You can see when Mark starts licking his lips. He's about to fire. Let's play a couple of voice notes and then take a call.
Good evening, ma'alalela. Namhlanje angizanga ngokuningi. We need our national apology from Unadim. We need that. We are awaiting our apology. Honestly, that is all I need on today's show. Just an apology. And we need that apology every Friday. Every Friday, because AFCON yet. So Nadim will have to give us an apology every Friday until the end of the year.
Andy, I said in your show last week, Bafana will lose. I'm sorry. I didn't see it coming. That's an apology.
There you go. Play the next one, Malcolm.
Good evening, Andre.
Hey.
First of all, wish Mr. Nkosa all the best. Quick recovery. Who miss his analogy for soccer and he's a good man. He's improved everything. He's doing well. Now we talk about Bafana. Yeah, Bafana, what can kill them is complacency. After they killed Morocco, what they should do is just focus. They shouldn't underrate any other team they're going to come against, so that they should go all the way, and wishing them well, they should bring the cup home and delay. I love the way how Bafana played in this Africa Cup of Nations. I can say that they are one of the giant killers, but all is not done. What we need is them to win the cup. Big up Andre for the show and all the guests in the studio. This is Mike from Cape Town. Thanks, my bro.
Thank you, Mike. Let's go to Sia. He's out in Cape Town.
Evening,
Sia,
good
hi.
Hey, Andile.
Hey, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, I know. We going through to Cape Verde.
Full stop.
Going through Cape Verde, we have a very good team. We have Abo Mukwena. We have Abo the GOAT, Pandowski. So I think we're going through, and I just hope we can give them the same help that we gave the Springboks when they were playing the World Cup. South Africa is too quiet for them. They are doing very good.
Oh, thank you so much, Sia. Let's go to West. West is out in Tembisa. West.
Hi, Mr. President. I'm just going to be quick. Like I said, I mean, the Northern African team and Yabakina, at this present moment, is at a point whereby, remember 1995?
Oh, West, I'm terribly sorry, man. I love taking your calls, but we couldn't hear you there. Bonkos is out in Dobsonville. Bonkos, you the last one. You're on the right, man. Tete Namboy.
Tubulele konke namadoda lapha studio. Ebutandile ngifuna ukuthi mina uDr Patrice Motsepe he deserve a credit Butandile. Ubusiyakhumbula 2003 2004 into oyenza kwiSundowns wathi i-one Sundowns to conquer Africa. Look where Sundowns it is now. Ujonge le AFCON le. This is the best. He said before the beginning of this AFCON, this is going to be the best AFCON ever seen. But go to ngifisa ngoku. This is the best AFCON. Akayibona AFCON efana nalena. So bengathanda ukuthi after i-term yakhe akangena apho kwiSAFA. Because I feel like
from CAF to SAFA,
president
not to FIFA.
SAFA.
To FIFA, Bab.
Butandile, serious, ngibona ngayo mina iBafana Bafana ngeza ngcono if Patrice people angibuya kwiSAFA after 10 yakhe le. Be careful.
All right, I think I've got somebody earmarked for that. I don't think it's Dr. Patrice, though. Thank you so much, Bonkosi, out in Dobsonville. Gents, your last word.
Well, I just want to say I heard one caller saying we must give them the same as the Rugby World Cup. Where Bafana is now is already harder than winning the Rugby World Cup. I just want to say that.
Say that again? Where Bafana is now in the quarterfinals.
The stage they're at right now, having qualified, having played the group phase, won the quarterfinal, is already harder than winning the Rugby World Cup. So what they've done is already beyond winning the Rugby World Cup.
I want to read your comments on YouTube. Get onto YouTube. I want to hear your comments on what Mark just said. Close it very quickly. You have 10 seconds.
Yeah, Andile, wish Bafana all the best tomorrow. In Nigeria, they're playing also. Whoever wins, Bafana is a...
So you want Nigeria, basically?
No, want Bafana to win.
And then to play who?
Of course, I like the Nigerians.
Okay. Pro, are we valid? 10 seconds.
Malcolm must cut out a clip, Kanadimi apologizer, and you must post it on our social so everybody can see who to apologize.
Ay, Mara Pilane. Andile.
Close his mic.
No,
Close
Pilane.
his mic. Close his mic. He's going to be gone. He's going to go back home soon. The league is starting soon, and we're going to say goodbye to our dear friend Pro Pilane. We miss him when he's not here, but we've got very capable hands in that of Biso, who comes in as well. Of course, we've got Konza there. Hey, bud.
What's happening?
Are you good?
I'm good.
I've never seen you excited for football the way you were over Bafana.
Because and please can I give you an irony quickly?
Please, go for it.
The irony is that on Wednesday, I had to go to OR Tambo. It was the most humbling irony I've had in a long time.
It was quiet.
I thought Lulu is a nice guy, man.
Lulu, you like literally the nice guy of entertainment, so it doesn't suit you to hit that
when it comes to football, it was...
Oh, man, what do you have going on the show?
All right, Naked DJ is back, so the battle will be full
Hey,
of
Azasebenzi.
fire. Yeah, man, nice. He's wearing shorts. He's got a nice
Has to
chisco.
be young, famous, and African. Means you work whenever you want.
That's it. And we have a fire show lined up for you today. Lots of great new music that's come out. Sculptured Music has got a new album out, so I'm excited to be playing his new stuff. So yeah, Audiogasm, 7 till 10 p.m.
Listen, it's already started. Nigeria versus Angola. It's 1 minute into the game. 0-0 at the moment. 10 o'clock. DR Congo versus Guinea. Both matches live on SABC Sport. So we're all rushing home to go watch that. Thank you for being part of the show. Pela Pela. Nganzomi.
Where I want to be.
It's about damn time.
Is the place to be.
How we feeling?